what is going on, guys? My name's Ricky, in case you didn't know, and I am the lead investigator for Paranormal Collective. This video, I want to try something new. The paranormal side is going great so far. I can see that you guys are definitely taking a liking to it, and I'm definitely having a lot of fun doing it. I'm gonna do a vlog at least once a week. I may do an extra one in between that 1 week, because as you know, I don't really do much. I'm indoors most of the time due to my anxiety. I might want to try something. Maybe it will be something that you guys will have some kind of interest in, because I've noticed that a lot of people like to express certain things and when they talk about their life experiences and such. One of my life experiences as such, which is kind of what if you haven't really got the drift of what I'm going towards now, I'm thinking of possibly doing some kind of videos of where I explain certain things, certain life things that have happened in my life, certain life things that's happened in my life. What the fuck? So, life stories as such. What I could probably start off with is probably one things that I would never forget, which was when I appeared on a British television show called The Jeremy Kyle Show. For those of you that are not from the UK, actually, to be honest, he did go over to America, come to think about it. But if you didn't know, Jeremy Kyle Show is basically something that's pretty much close, similar to Jerry Springer or such. I guess I will start from that. So once I upload this video, I want you guys to let me know what you think. Do you like these types of life stories and such that I've got to say? I've definitely got a few stories to say, so you can just let me know after you've watched this. When I was, if I remember rightly, I was 16. I'm 25 now. At the age of 16, I can't exactly remember when it was showed and when it was aired, because I've actually tried to look for it before, because I know people that have wanted to watch it, but it's literally nowhere to be found. But forget about that. So what the story was, the person that I was seeing at that time, I was 16. I was engaged. Yeah, 16, being engaged, that's very young. Young love. Things were going great. Until after a while it started to get a little bit strange. She kept going out a lot, and drinking, getting drunk a lot, and dressing up, not what you would say casual, dressing up in specific ways which don't exactly look very, which is what I explained to Jeremy Kyle at the time when I was on stage. I said to him, because he asked me, well, why are you bothered about her going out? What's up with this? I said, well, to be honest, I'm not bothered about her going out. I said that what I'm bothered is the way that she goes about it, the way she dresses, the way she goes out. It doesn't give off a good message. So, I'm going to go back now, because I went a little bit too far forward. So basically, where I left off, when it became a very frequent thing of constantly going out, getting drunk and dressing up in not so casual clothing, something that would probably come along the lines as maybe kind of lingerie in a way, or I don't know. I don't actually know, to be honest. But it's just not a casual way of dressing, you know. And because it becomes such a problem, it's such a worry on my mind of what was going on. Now get this is funny actually, because this is probably the part that was probably the most funniest part about it, and the only part that was funny was I rung her up one time when she went to go out again. I'm gonna call up the Jeremy Kyle Show and we're gonna go on there and blah 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 blah. And she was like, oh yeah, all right then, we're going then, do it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. So so I did it. So what it was is they got a cab to come pick me up from. At the time, I was living in Croydon. So they sent a cab to pick me up from Croydon that night, and they drove me from Croydon all the way up to Manchester in a cab. That guy must have got paid well. So I think that was a 7-hour drive, something like that. I had her with me in the cab. We had a little stop off for a break halfway through, so we can grab a bite to eat. Then they called us, call us, and they'll ask us a couple of things like, so what problems are you having, blah 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 blah, and to explain to them just basically what was going on and how I was feeling and such, so they can get an idea of what they want to do once I get there. So but this was actually quite late at night. We were driving there because obviously we wouldn't have been able to film it the first night. So they drove us with a cab all the way up to Manchester. They then booked a Premier Inn hotel where I stayed in the same room as her, because obviously at the time I was with her, I wasn't split. We were still technically a couple then. Yes, in quotes. Was that quotes high? I don't know. Just please. So we went to stay there. Called a couple of family members and such, and then we're just like, oh, we're going to be on Jeremy Kyle show, blah 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 blah. Like, ooh, because I've never been on TV before. That would be the first time I've ever been on TV, and it's not the best. A lot of people don't agree with people going on to the Jeremy Kyle, which I can kind of understand, because you're putting your business out there. I can get that. Difference is that if I didn't go on there, my life wouldn't have turned out how it is right now. So, okay, so we're at the hotel. We finally go to sleep. We wake up the next morning, and the next morning is when we're told that they're ready to take us to the show. So they come to pick us up again, and they drove us to the studio. They put us in a is it a dressing room? Where you can do whatever you want, like you've got a mirror, blah blah blah, you know, like all the fancy like celebrities get and such. They put us there, waited there for quite some time, not gonna lie, well over an hour. Then obviously we were explained that we'd have to sign a contract, like usual, with when you go on TV. A lot of times you have to sign a contract, so we went and done that. It came to the part where it was finally going to go on. Obviously, I was the first person to go on, because I had rung up the show first, and I was the one that thought that I had some problems that need to be addressed and such. So I rung up the show first. So then I was the one that was first on. So once I was called on, he basically sat me down and just explained to me. Just to tell me what went on. I explained that obviously the girl that I was with at that time, it was like a child sort of love kind of thing, because I knew her when she was when she was young and when I was young, used to run around and such and whatnot. So explaining about that, and then obviously that's when he asked me about the part. So okay, so why are you bothered with her going out, which I explained earlier on in the video. Well, I said, to be honest, I don't actually have a problem with her going out. It's just the way that she goes about it, you know, the way that she dresses. It's not very appropriate. So the way the usual Jeremy Kyle show goes, she was then called out, shouting rah 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 rah. She went to drag the chair away from her. She didn't want to be next to me at that time. She tripped over the chair at that time as well. So then he began to start asking her questions and such. So it was just normal questions like, what do you think? Why do you think he's being like this? And blah 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 and all that kind of thing. And what it is, at that time, just before we was nearly to the hotel, which I was explaining earlier. It's gone. It was there, now it's gone. Okay, so basically she turned around and said, oh, I'll do a lie detector. And I said, well, if you want to. I mean, I didn't say you have to. She asked, she said, so I just said, okay, well, if you want to, then sure, go ahead, do so. Which she did. So then we got onto the part where obviously it came up about the lie detector. Basically, short story was, She passed on the sexual intercourse question, but she failed on the kissing and sexual touch one. So obviously, once that happened, at that time, as you are when you're in love. Oh, why did my voice just go funny when I said that? So basically, how it usually went, obviously, I was very upset. I would admit, I did start crying. I cried quite a lot, actually. I ended up obviously she ended up taking the ring off of her finger, which I gave her when I proposed. At 16, yeah, I know, still too young. Learn from your mistakes. She took the ring off, and then she says, you know, take this back. I don't want to be with you no more. Pretty ironic, actually, that she's telling me that she doesn't want to be with me when she just just got caught out for failing the lie detector. But hey, sure, if that's how you want to go about it. So yeah, she took the ring off. She gave it back to me. I was there, obviously, crying and such. Jeremy Kyle himself turned around and said to her, "Get off my stage. You're not welcome here." So then he comes down and sits next to me, and he explains to me, like, obviously how everything's not over. There is still more. There's plenty more people out there, or plenty more fish in the sea, as you would say, and just basically not to worry about it and such. One thing that I was probably disappointed in before they came to pick me up to take me to the studio and such, they told my grandparent that they would make sure that I got home safe and such like that. So bearing in mind, as I said, they picked me up from a cab from Croydon and drove all the way up to Manchester. So basically, how they sent me home, which was probably the most downside part about it, they said that they would take care of me to my grandparent at the time, because I mean I was 16, still very young. Basically what it was is that they got a cab once again. They took me to the local train station at Manchester, gave me a ticket and said, there you go, on your way. Bearing in mind, I'm 16 years of age. I've never been that far away from home, and I've been left at the train station to try and figure out how I get back home. So that was quite scary. That was definitely a downside. The travel back wasn't very nice, just because, well, she lived in the same area as I lived at that time, so she came back with me on the train, so you can imagine how awkward that was. There was a lot of crying, definitely, until I finally got back home. So that's basically the story about when I showed on Jeremy Kyle's show. In case you're wondering now, or in case some of you probably already know now, but in case people who are new that don't know what it is now, well, I am engaged again. The girl that I'm with now, she lives with me. We've lived together for more than 5 years. Yeah, the relationship has gone on for nearly 6 years now, which is definitely a huge difference. I'd never been with anyone that for more than a year. For some reason, I thought I had some kind of bad luck back then, because every time I was with someone when I was younger, it seemed to always end just before Valentine's Day. It was very strange. But I guess this part was the part that broke that kind of curse. That's how things are now. I thought I'd give you a little insight give you a little story time with Ricky. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to hear some more stories, then feel free to let me know. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to leave a like and comment down below if you want to, you don't have to. And share the video with your friends if you like. You don't have to, but it's really appreciated. Very appreciated. What did I just say? Forget it. So yeah, it's very appreciated. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.